Do you really want to live your dream? If you do, you have to have the courage to do it alone. Welcome back to How to Beat You podcast, the place where we grow together, and I'm your host, Jarrell Henry. You can stay up to date with all things How to Beat You at all my socials at Jarrell.Henry. And today we're talking about having the courage to follow your dreams alone. All of this social media stuff came from me choosing music. And that wasn't a decision that no one really agreed with. It wasn't per se against me doing music, but I can be a very all or nothing thing. And I wasn't really even at a point where maybe I shouldn't have been all or nothing in that, but I did. And it brought me much pain, and people was trying their best to keep me from some of that pain, but I needed that. Like, I saw my vision and I started working on it, and I kept working on it, and it got me here. If I hadn't went all in the way I did, I couldn't have developed so much in such a relatively short amount of time. But people's desire for me to live a life that they wanted me to live was keeping them from actually helping me in my journey, actually supporting me and giving me the reassurance I need. And that's when I came to the understanding that I don't need everybody. Everybody isn't necessary. As long as I have me and God and we're on the same understanding that my direction and path is right, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's not an easy decision to make, but that's the decision that you will have to make eventually if you really want to live these dreams. Everybody won't understand you in the moves you make. Everybody won't like you in the moves you make. But it's not important what they want. It's important how you feel about them, how it resonates in you. I'm not telling you to per se go all in when you're not making money from it, because that's not for everybody. That was for me, and I don't regret it. But it came with a lot of pain. And if you choose to walk that route, know it's going to come with a lot of pain, but there are also some greater things to gain that somebody might not have been able to. And it's okay, like, to choose that route if you want to. If you want to go all in and risk it all, and you're willing to walk it through with the highs and lows, then there's nothing that can stop you. You can go as far as you want to go. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you're doing all the things necessary for you to get success in that. At a certain point of every successful person's journey, they come to a place where they must be all alone, where it's just them and God. And it's easy to hate all of the people around you for that. Like, there was a point in time and that walk for me when I was all alone and I felt alone, and there was no one I really felt like I could call and depend on. But that taught me faith. That taught me how to really move with God. That taught me how to overcome anything that's in front of me. And it sharpened me. It taught me how to give my all. It taught me what it takes to really walk in faith. And it taught me so much. It taught me peace. It taught me perseverance. It taught me gratitude. It taught me it taught me love, self-love. All of these came from me in my time of isolation, of not being accepted and accepting what other people want from me, not being accepted as I am and accepting what other people want from me versus what I want for myself. And it's okay if you're at that part of the journey. There are times even in the Bible where Jesus had to separate himself from the disciples and go into periods of isolation. And then he would come back with different game and, all right, this is what we're going to do next, because it's necessary. There's so much that can be developed in your time when it's just you and God, especially if that's how you spending your time. I'm not telling you to isolate and not and just twiddle your thumbs and just like, all right, when this gonna happen? Like, no. It take real work. It take real dedication. It take real grit to push through that series of series of isolation and make it to the other side. And if you can't aren't willing to do that, then maybe you should stay where you are. Maybe you should keep staying in this comfortable world, but just understand that you choosing that world is you choosing not to live your dreams. It's you choosing not to live in the world that you imagine that you could do. You don't you don't need everybody as a part of your group to make progress. Shit, you don't really need nobody but you in a lot of things. It just takes more work. It takes more effort. Like this podcast. I'm shooting this. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna edit the vocals. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna cut up the clips. I'm gonna do all of that myself. And that's how I've been doing it because I don't got no big team right now. And that's fine. But I'm still making progress. I'm still showing up. I'm still being seen. I'm still becoming who I want to be, even though I don't have no big team. Because you don't need it. The people that cling to these big groups the most are insecure people, are people who don't feel safe alone. And that's okay. I'm not saying you per se wrong for that, but you have to learn how to stand on yourself. You have to learn how to trust yourself. You have to learn how to trust your vision and your thoughts to get you where you want to get, because there are times where nobody will see it the same way as you, but that doesn't make you wrong. That just means no one around you understand where you're coming from. Like, I'm not always understood, or at least I don't feel always understood. I don't, at times I don't even feel always supported. At times I don't feel supported at all, if I'm truly being honest. It's people I love that come across my stuff and I would never know because there's no likes or comments or nothing. And now I can come from the place of understanding that this isn't even per se for them, but it could be very easily for me to be like, damn, this crazy. Like, fuck you too. Like, if this how you feel because you're not supporting what I do, but you don't have to. Just because you're alone in your support, that doesn't mean that it has to be fuck everybody else. And then that doesn't mean that these people don't wish you good and aren't helping you in other ways. It just means that's not their role to play. Everybody has their role to play in their journeys and in your journeys. And when it comes time for isolation, if you feel like you're all alone and you don't want to go back to the people you left, you got every right to feel that way. And you do not have to. But not everybody that was obedient in their way don't love and support you. Like some of those same people are still important people in your life and still can and deserve to be on your team. Granted, they might have to work your trust back up, and that's fine. But just because somebody can't be there for a season, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be there at all. I know it's so easy to feel hurt and feel like you wouldn't do this to somebody else, so why the fuck would they do it to you? But nobody else out there is you. They can't take what you can take. They can't handle it how you can handle it. And they got their own shit going on. So if you don't like my picture, I can still know it's love because I'm dependent on me and my guidance and my approval to move along. And that's something else. You have to learn how to be super dependent on your own approval. When you so dependent on everyone around you, it gets hard to trust your own vision because you're not used to trusting your own vision or your thoughts. And it's easy for let all these outside perspectives to stop you. If I go around, I make music. That's well known. I made Growing Pains EP. If you haven't heard it, go check it out now. Um, but the amount of people that knew what I was doing was very minimal. because it's not necessary. If I go around and be like each song ask 15 people I know how they feel about it, even if some of them give me good reviews and some of them give me bad, I might start raising their opinions over my own opinions. And that gets in the way of my vision because they don't know where I'm going. They just see where it's at. I made a lot of those songs to help people in their times of transition as I was helping myself through my music. And if people don't completely get the whole picture, no, they don't have the right frame of reference to even guide you and support you in the way that you need. So sometimes you don't need all of them opinions. You don't need them voices. You don't need none of that because it can get in your way. And it's not necessary. But I also do want to say that if you are in a period of isolation or you're coming out of a period of isolation, you have to relearn what it's like to move and live with people. It can be so comfortable to be alone that you think you have to stay alone, but the isolation period only needs to be so long, and it only should be, because at a certain point you start losing all your social skills. It's very damaging to your mind and body and spirit, and it's not good for you. I mean, everybody got that level of what is good for them, but studies have shown if it's too long of an isolation period, it's only harming you. There might be some benefits, but it just became your new safe space. And there's nothing wrong with yourself being your safe space. Myself is my safe space. But if I'm not putting myself out in the world just because I'm safe in myself, I still won't get where I want to be. I still won't develop in the ways that I need to. And I still won't learn the lessons that other people have to offer me because I still am learning from these people all the time. I got a I got a homie who can call me and be like, "Hey, I like what you did with this, but you need to improve in this way because there's a limit to how you doing it." And I can easily, if I'm so used to only listening and trusting and believing in myself and not listening to these outside perspectives at all, then I could have just fucked up some good advice. Granted, that doesn't mean that everything these people say is the right thing for you, but it's on you to differentiate that. So even if you all alone, you can't quit because that's where you're developed. That's where true champions are made. That's where you see what you're really made of. And I want you to see what you're really made of. I want you to really have your dreams come true. I want you to go as far as you can imagine and further. Before that, you have to accept these isolation periods and not run from them and play your part. Keep showing up and keep fighting and keep grinding even when you're not seen. Because when you are seen, it'll show. So thank you for another episode. This is How to Beat You podcast. I'm your host, Jarrell Henry. You can stay up to date with all things How to Beat You at Jarrell.Henry and stay blessed. Thank you.